Hey collective, welcome back. I hope you're having a good day today. So I recently read an article that said men are killing themselves at 4 times the rate of women, not because of women, but because of other men. Men and women report similar rates of being depressed, but men report far greater levels of not seeking out mental health help. Not because they're not taken seriously, because they've literally been taught not to express their emotions, not to regulate their emotions, and not to seek help when they're suffering. Men are being completely failed by the system they find themselves born into that says you're not allowed to express femininity. Lean into your emotions or feelings, which are critical to living a meaningful and happy life. Instead, you live these fake, false, robotic lives that are surface level and highly materialistic, where you would rather self-delete than express your sadness, your grief, your struggles, and work through it with a friend, a partner, or a therapist. Male suicide is a critical public health issue, accounting for nearly 80% of all suicides. In the US, the male suicide rate is over 22 per 100,000, with the highest risk among men aged 85 or older, but the second highest is 45 to 60-year-olds. Now, I've been hearing a lot about, male isolation and the loneliness epidemic a lot recently. But the reason no one is dating anymore is because women are attracted to men who don't exist yet, and men are attracted to women who don't exist anymore. Women are evolving. We've taken control of our lives. We do the inner work. We heal ourselves inside out. While men stay stuck, stagnant, bitter, and resentful in the patriarchal system that you created that says there's nothing wrong with you and there's nothing to fix. Still relying on outdated gender roles, asking who's going to cook and clean for you. Women are done sacrificing themselves for someone who just wants them to make your life easier. Whatever you think you're owed by being married and committing to sleeping with one woman for the rest of your life like it's a chore is delusional. Being committed and married doesn't give you full reign to extract our mental, emotional, and physical labor as some kind of fucked up repayment or thank you for working, paying bills, and being loyal. Because guess what? I work. I pay bills. I'm loyal. Men, you have to evolve. If you want better, you have to do better. You have to answer the call to transform yourselves and the system that you were born into. And whether you like it or not, believe it or not, you're victims of the patriarchy just like women. So this video is for the men who don't even exist yet. But you will. If I have anything to do with it, you will. It's intended to help you see a different perspective and to understand how to help one another and why it's so important to be authentic and not just follow the herd. This isn't a gender war or me attacking men in any way. I genuinely want to help, and this is a conversation that needs to be started. You're being completely failed by a system that you were born into. You would rather self-delete than express your grief, sadness, or disappointment. Your energy is unbalanced. You're not whole from within. And the patriarchy wants to keep it that way because if you're able to manifest your desires, then you won't have to work so hard to buy from their toxic machine. It's on all of you to break the cycle, to see the pattern for what it is. I hope that you eventually wake up and get what women awakened to a long, long time ago. Either evolve and find balance or stay oppressed. I hope this helps. All right, my dudes, let's talk. Modern men are living through a silent epidemic of isolation. 80% of suicides in the United States are men. On the outside, you might look like you have it all together. The career, the house, the family, even the gym routine. You look the part, you play the part. But inside, something's disconnected. It's a feeling of having a kind of success, but being denied its real power. Whether you know it or not, it's a spiritual emergency. So many men today are living a contradiction. You appear strong, but feel brittle. You project confidence, but are plagued by a fear of making the wrong move, which leads to crippling inaction. This isn't a personal failing. It's the result of a profound isolation and lack of balanced energy. You've been taught to suppress your emotions, to see vulnerability as a catastrophic failure, and to fight your demons in total silence. You're told to man up, but no one ever gives you the tools or the safe ground to actually do the work. The result? An entire generation of men enduring silent battles, emotionally, financially, and socially. Terrified of being judged and criticized. You have to understand the wound before you can heal it. This isolation isn't just a sad feeling, it's a cancer that eats away at the very fabric of your life. It creates a man who is physically present in his home, but emotionally checked out. It fuels a man who avoids leadership, not because he's incapable, but because he's never been given the unconditional support to trust his own decisions. This leads to broken homes and unraveling communities, all because men have been led to believe they must fight their wars alone. The world tells you to be logical, to be action-oriented, rugged. And yes, those are good things. But it also tells you to cut off the other half of your being. Your intuition, your empathy, and your vulnerability. Your feminine energy. And I hate to break it to you, fellas, but cutting it off creates a man who is fundamentally out of balance. He lives entirely in his head, disconnected from his heart and his gut. This imbalance leads to a constant state of internal war, showing up as anxiety and stress. This imbalance will also completely block your manifestations from coming in case you didn't know. When you, a man, suppress this intuitive side of yourself, you lose your ability for true discernment, the power to tell the truth from illusion. You become easily swayed by the opinions of others because you have no anchor in your own authentic beliefs. You become a leaf in the wind, chasing external validation, more money, more status, more attention, because you haven't learned to do the inner work, to find the unconditional acceptance that's already inside you. This is the unseen man. He might be you. He might be your father, your brother, your friend, or for any ladies watching, your partner. He looks successful, but he's silently suffering, hiding, lying not only to you, but worst of all, himself. I get it. Therapy can feel judgmental for men who've been taught to hide their feelings. And research shows that therapists often miss depression in men because you're so good at hiding it. Men have been shown to prefer informal, activity-based places where they can connect without the pressure of a face-to-face connection. This is the agitation. The quiet desperation of the modern man, left without a map, a tribe, or the tools to forge his own soul. He's told to be a king, but is never shown how to build his kingdom. He's told to be a warrior, but is handed a dull blade. This is the problem, and it's deep, but it's not hopeless. So what's the way out? Well, it's not another self-help book you probably wouldn't read anyway. So I have a few thoughts. In my experience with the men that I know who are struggling, what seems to be lacking is true brotherhood. An intentional, committed safe space with other men that I'm going to call the Forge. This isn't about a group of guys getting together to complain or just reinforce toxic bravado. And if that sounds like your friend group, well, that's a commiseration club, not a brotherhood. A true brotherhood should be like a forge. It's where steel sharpens steel. An environment built on trust, confidentiality, and unwavering respect, where you can finally take off the armor that you wear for the world. Men, you need a container where you can speak honestly without fear of judgment, where you can be in a room with other men who aren't there to fix you, but to witness you. True friendship is a person who can hear your struggles and reflect your own strength back to you when you can't see it yourself. As a hairstylist for 23 years, I can speak from experience when I say there's a reason many men feel more comfortable talking to their barber than their doctor. The barbershop and the hair salon can be a judgment-free zone. It's a sacred space. That's the energy I'm talking about. A healthy, dedicated men's group, a sports team, a hobby club, not revolved around drinking, drugs, or any other toxic activities. Connection is the point here. Now, if your current friend group is lacking these simple ground rules, then it's time to either remove yourself or be the one to pioneer change in the group. Here's a few rules I would enforce. First, honesty. Lying about anything, big or small, suggests a desire to control perception and makes you look insecure. It breaks trust and it builds a faulty foundation. You should always strive to maintain transparency with those you care about. Otherwise, they're not really your friends. Second, confidentiality. What's said in the circle stays in the circle. Fight Club. This creates the safety needed for a man to be truly vulnerable. And third, no judgment. You're there to listen and understand, not to give unsolicited advice or use someone's honesty against them. Your feelings shouldn't just be tolerated, but valued. From my experience, this is radically different from how most men interact. You compete, you posture, you use jokes to deflect. In a true brotherhood, all of that would get left at the door. Every man from the CEO to the construction worker is equal inside that circle, and every one of them wouldn't be afraid to speak up to anyone trying to go against that or break those rules. You have to start holding your friends, your family, your peers accountable for their bullshit. Only then is the unseen man finally seen. And when you're truly seen, maybe for the first time, you'll begin to truly see yourself. You'll realize your silent battles aren't unique, that the shame and fear you carry is also carried by the man next to you. In that shared realization, the burden is instantly lightened. The isolation is broken. This is the forge, but a forge is useless without fuel. So let's talk about the work that gets done inside the forge. Inside the safety of the group is where the real work begins. And that work is the conscious integration of the feminine energy that society has taught you to fear and suppress. Now, I want to be crystal clear here. This is not about becoming less of a man. It's about becoming a whole man. It's about understanding that true masculine strength isn't about being aggressive or unemotional. It's about being steady, courageous, and protective in a compassionate way. The divine masculine doesn't dominate. It guides with wisdom. And there's a difference between being smart and having wisdom. It doesn't create chaos. It brings order from it. Not through rigid control, but by creating an environment where everyone can thrive. To do this, you have to balance the two fundamental energies that exist in all of us, man or woman. The masculine energy is your doing energy. It's action, logic, structure, and purpose. It builds the skyscraper. It runs the marathon. It provides and protects. And when I say provide, it has nothing to do with money. It's holding space for emotions. It's direction and vision. It's action-oriented love. And the protection part is the shielding of what is being built. Being a reliable force so that vulnerability and spiritual growth can occur without fear. Our society celebrates this energy, and for good reason. It's essential. But the feminine energy is our being energy. It's intuition, creativity, empathy, and flow. It's the energy of receiving. It doesn't build the skyscraper. It feels where the skyscraper should be built. It's the ocean of wisdom that the masculine energy, the ship, must learn to navigate. For generations, men have been told to build a bigger, faster ship, but to ignore the ocean entirely. The result is powerful men who are utterly lost, crashing against rocks they never saw coming because they have no intuition, no inner compass. They're men with crippled souls, unable to access the wholeness they desperately want because they're chasing things outside of themselves. Integrating your feminine energy means having the courage to feel. It means recognizing your emotions are not a liability, they're data. They're your guidance system. It means learning to listen to the quiet whisper of your intuition instead of only the loud shouting of your logic. When these two energies are in balance, a man becomes truly powerful. His actions are guided by a deeper wisdom. He is no longer a ship with a powerful engine. He's a master navigator in tune with the currents of life, moving with confidence and grace. This is the fuel for the forge. So how do you actually do this? How do you begin to integrate this ignored part of yourself? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me give you 4 pillars. First, you need to get back in your body. Masculine energy often lives in the mind. The feminine brings us back into our bodies and into a creative flow. This means doing things that connect you to the physical world and your own creative spark. It could be art, music, or writing. It doesn't matter if you're good at it. The point is the act of creation itself. It could also mean connecting with nature by hiking or yard work, or with your body through breath work or yoga. These practices quiet the logical mind and awaken the intuitive, feeling body. They ground you. Second, learn to speak your truth. This is the big one. You have to start expressing your feelings, and you must learn to name your emotions. Not just good, bad, but anger, fear, joy, disappointment, grief, shame, whatever. Journaling is a powerful private tool for this. Within your group, practice listening with empathy. You learn to hold space for another human being's experience without trying to fix it or judge it. You practice being vulnerable, sharing something real, and discovering it doesn't break you. In fact, it makes you stronger and creates an unbreakable bond. This is how you unlearn toxic stoicism that's been hurting you and your gender since the beginning of time. Third, practice stillness. The masculine is action. The feminine is being. To access your being energy, you must practice stillness. This is the world of meditation and mindfulness. Even 5 minutes a day of sitting in silence, just focusing on your breath, can begin to change your entire operating system. In the quiet, you start to hear the voice of your intuition. You slow down. You stop reacting to life and start responding to it. This stillness isn't passive. It's the source of all powerful aligned action. Fourth, connect with balance. Finally, this inner work has to show up in your relationships. It means moving away from rigid, hierarchical roles and seeking equality and mutual respect. It means truly learning to give and receive with others equally. It means using your strength to uplift and protect rather than control and dominate. In your friend group, it means holding each other accountable with compassion. In your romantic relationships, you practice it by embracing emotional intimacy and honoring the feminine energy in your partner, which in turn validates your own integrated masculinity. This journey isn't easy. It takes courage. It requires unlearning decades of conditioning. Finding a group of men committed to this work is maybe the single greatest accelerator for your own growth. We started by talking about the silent epidemic of isolation, the feeling of being unseen. The consequences are not just personal, they're societal. The solution isn't complicated. It begins with one decision: to stop fighting and answer the call. It's time for men to finally start being real, and the fuel for that is the courageous work of integrating your whole self, balancing the doing with the being. This is the path to reclaiming the power that resides within you. A power defined not by ego, but by service. Not by control, but by leadership. Not by aggression, but by compassionate strength. Women, good women, have done all they can to help, and a lot of us were met with pride, ego, and deaf ears. It's on you now to do this for yourselves, to change societal norms, to get out of your own way, and help each other become human again. Until next time, friends, keep healing. See ya.